know if I was like in the kitchen when you called.
Uh,
I don't walk around with my phone on my hip. I'm not a
that's so weird.
12-year-old girl.
That's so weird. Hey, I gotta ask you. I got your. Oh, by the way, we have a Twitter account. It's Demoblican. You can find
Oh
us
yeah,
on Twitter. Yes, and I
we have,
actually do
you,
post the stuff that
we
you
haven't been
send.
kicked off.
No, not yet. Not yet. I've got a whole bunch of warnings though. Fact checked. I've
You
been
got to go to
fact checked.
Gab. You got
I've
to go
been.
to Gab. With
Well, I
Gab, you
tried
can put
going
up
to.
anything.
I tried to go to Parlor, but they kicked me off. I mean,
Yeah,
they
but
shut down
Gab
the
is there.
service.
Actually, Gab is getting much better. They got what happened to Parlor happened to them like 2 or 3 years ago.
Uh,
So what they did is they just built out their own servers,
yeah.
and over the last several years they've built it up.
Yeah,
Then what
and it,
happened is that after the whole Twitter thing is they got slammed with millions of new users,
yeah.
and so it ran kind of slow, but it's actually running pretty good right now.
That's what. Whenever they describe Parlor, they describe it as a hive of right-wing, horrible messages.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of do.
Whenever they describe anything other than Twitter, Facebook, and stuff like that, they call it a right-wing haven or whatever
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's like, really? Well, what's Twitter? Twitter's a left-wing haven.
Right, right. Well, the thing I will say that I am concerned about these alternative sites is
Yeah,
that I don't want them to become echo chambers. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I know that the left, the people on the left, they can't stand dissent. They don't like when people challenge their tweets or anything, or even call them names. They hate that.
yeah,
They're just not very rock ribbed and steely spined people.
yeah,
They like the echo chamber. I like the the go back and forth. And
yeah,
so if you go over to these alternative sites, you know, again, preaching to the choir gets really boring after a while. You
yeah.
want some people to sort of challenge you,
Yeah,
and
but they'll never go to these platforms
no, they
ever.
won't. They
They
won't.
never
And
do.
that's the thing. But I was thinking about it. I was thinking about like this over the weekend, and um, like Twitter. Actually, Twitter does, but YouTube, for instance, they don't allow pornography on
Uh,
YouTube. You know, And so what happened? All the people that were posting porn to YouTube, 10 years ago or whenever, they all got kicked off. And then they started Pornhub and these other porn, sort of YouTube type sites.
yeah,
And those things took off. And they make tons of money, even with advertisers. I mean, you can get, advertising on your Pornhub site. And I think that's probably what's going to happen with these other sites,
mm,
and the people that follow them. It's like on YouTube. I'm subscribed to like on YouTube, like I don't know, a few hundred channels.
uh,
I only watch like 10 of them, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and so yeah, these like in other words, my other 190 people that I subscribe to, I'm not watching their shit, you
mm,
know and so but if you go to like an alternative thing and and somebody follows you, the chances are you're going to have a more engaged crowd. I don't know,
yeah.
it could
Yeah,
work out
you
for the
know what?
best.
I was thinking this weekend, right? The Communist Chinese Party, the CCP Party.
Yeah,
They have their own Twitter account, Facebook account, YouTube channel.
right.
I don't understand how these U.S. companies allow them on when they have all these channels, but they block all these social media sites from getting into their country.
I,
It just seems odd to me. It's like, well, you're saying that they can have this channel, but they block it for billions of people. Isn't that against your terms of agreement or something? It just
well,
seems odd.
yeah, that's what I think is, again, the thing that's bothering me so much about politics and Silicon Valley and culture and all this stuff is the complete lack of transparency,
Mm,
where I just like just in a newspaper article, it's not the fake news that they write, it's the stuff they don't. It's
mm,
the information they don't include, and it all should be out there, and it is in like in on the internet. You can find this information, but most people are extraordinarily lazy, and that's why when people say they get their news, they get it from CNN. It's
yeah.
easy to come home, turn on channel 354, and boom, there's CNN, and it's like you watch it for couple of hours, and you think, I'm totally informed, and they
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they're only getting just like whatever, the narrative they want to put out. And that's why guys like you and me, we look at these people like, what an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
or we'll get into a discussion with somebody and you'll bring up a fact and they've never heard it. They've
Yeah.
never heard it.
They've literally never heard, like the two Trump Nobel Peace Prize nominations.
Yeah.
They have absolutely no idea. They think it's fake news.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, go look it up.
Yeah. Oh,
You
that's
know?
just what's that from? Like Breitbart.
Yeah. That's why I never send Breitbart. Yeah, that's why I never send Breitbart links. Okay. You want me to take out Breitbart? Perfect. I won't do it because they always source their links.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's the real one. Go look at it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I do that too. But the reality is if you use CNN and you use Breitbart, again, if you're a lazy consumer of the news, and you watch CNN for an hour and then go and read Breitbart, I think you're at least getting into the ballpark of well-informed, meaning getting all different sides and all different stories. Because there are stories that are on Breitbart. Again, I know this crazy conspiracy theory shit has taken hold, that Breitbart is just all right, white supremacy, like it's taken. Breitbart is very mild. There are times when I read Breitbart and I'll be like, come on, man. Like they'll rip on Trump or something like that. I'm like, oh man, like, whatever. And they're not. They're every bit the journalists. In fact, I think they're more so because they are willing to cover stories that CNN and the networks just won't. That's the frustrating thing. They just won't cover these stories.
Yeah.
And then the spin that they put. Can you imagine if Donald Trump, for his inauguration, ordered the U.S. military to patrol the streets and put up razor wire fences all over the place? Can you imagine what the media covered?
And they refused to pull out the National Guard during the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots. They refused. They constantly refused to send them out.
And what happened? He burned.
Yeah.
He burned. Yeah. Go look up Washington D.C. fires. And look up the pictures. I mean, people don't know that happened. Most of the people that got CNN didn't cover any of the Portland riots.
Yeah.
That city was on fire. Those people were attacking the federal courthouse every single day from June to
a couple of months, right?
Yeah, a couple of months. No, it went on for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Every night, not just like every now and then, a little skirmish would break. Every night they were marching down there and throwing fireworks and firebombs and Molotov cocktails. And the media just came out and they kept calling them protesters and kept calling them, mostly peaceful, and, like 90% of the people that went into the Capitol during the Capitol thing, the overwhelming majority of those people, they didn't even know that the gates had been crashed down.
Yeah.
They didn't know because they were, a lot of them were up at the speech. That the thing began in the middle of the speech. Those people were there before Trump ended. It wasn't like he said something and then they all marched down and stormed the castle. Those people started storming the castle. Again, the relatively few, which arrest them all. I don't care. Put them in jail. Throw them fucking Gitmo. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the other people were like, at that point, the Capitol Police had given up, opened the gates. Doors were starting to be open, and the people just started going in and taking selfies.
Yeah.
It looked like
after all, it is their building. It's our building.
Right, exactly.
It's not their building.
Right.
The government for the people, by the people. Remember?
Yeah. See, I'm always in almost every situation. I'm always at the back of the line. Like I never get there like at the front. I'm not a camper out for Star Wars or any of that stuff. And so if I see 1,000 people streaming into the Capitol, I'm not going to think, oh, we're breaking in. It's the Capitol, first of all. We can go in, and I'd assume they let you in, which is exactly what the guards did. Yeah. They pulled the gates after the storming. That happened, but after that, and then the guys that ran into the offices and started breaking windows and stuff. Again, arrest them all. I don't care.
Yeah.
But AOC was out this weekend, and she's like, I felt terrified that I was going to be killed. And
Yeah.
even when, this is what she said, even when they rushed us to our, safe space or wherever the secure location, she
Yeah.
goes, I realized I was in a safe space with other white supremacists that supported Trump, and I was afraid that they would kill me. Said
Oh
this.
my God.
She said she's nuts. She's
Yeah.
nuts. But here's the thing: there a lot of people listen to her. I have a very close person in my life whose daughters think that she is brilliant. They think she's brilliant.
Oh my God.
Like, how do you get to that point
I don't
where
know.
you listen to her and she sounds like as dumb as somebody is standing in line at Target that won't
Uh,
talk quietly? It,
yeah. She's one
anyway,
of those people,
she is
you
she's
know.
just a dimwit. Fucking. The only thing is she has great cans. I will give.
She's the best looking of the whole. That's why they throw her out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have other new people in there that
Yeah,
wear the white, but
yeah,
she's hot. You know, and
yeah.
what do you call that thing when you're being when you're trying to exploit women? I don't remember what that word is. You know what
Uh,
I mean? You're trying to
uh,
exploit women, and then the woman goes, "Oh my God, you just love me because I'm hot." You know,
yeah.
sexism, whatever it
Texas.
is.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's what they're doing. The Democrats, they aren't picking her because she's the smartest of the bunch. They're
No.
picking her because she's the hottest of the
Yeah.
bunch. That's
Yeah.
why they are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it works both
Yeah.
ways. You
She
know,
she does the she has this weird smile. It goes from pretty to insane
yeah, I
with
know.
tweak of her mouth.
Yeah,
Like some smile she gives, and it's like, what the, it's too gummy. She looks kind of like a horse.
yeah.
But I'm not. I don't care really about her face. It's her voice that just cuts through me like a goddamn rusty butter knife. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
But
it's ridiculous.
then the camera pulls back, and you see those cans, and it's like, oh, jeez.
Okay, I can watch her for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we were at some Japanese restaurant, supermarket, and there was a line to get in, right?
Mhm.
And so we was talking to these people in front of us, you know, chit chatting and everything. And the people in front of them, there was this Chinese couple. They turned around and asked these people to back up. They weren't 6 feet apart, and they were like 3, 4 feet apart or something like that.
Yeah.
And my wife went off on them, right?
Oh no.
It's like if you want to, why can't you just step out of line? If it's that important to you, just step out of line for a second. We're
Yeah.
talking to these people. We have our masks on, right?
Yeah.
They're like 4 feet apart. Relax. You're ridiculous. You're stupid. And she literally, then she started into her Chinese, right?
Yeah.
And then I know these were really bad words talked about because I'm called them all the time. So I knew what they were. And so what they did was they moved out of line a little bit to get 6 feet apart. And that's my whole thing. If it bothers you that much, right?
Yeah.
You take care of your own self.
That's
You
how it
know,
should go.
they could have gladly just moved away a little bit and everything would have been fine. But they want us to do what they want to do. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck you. No, you do. We have our masks on. We've done everything we're supposed to do. If you really want to do the 6 feet apart,
Yeah.
move out while we talk
Yeah.
to these people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
oh, it was
Yeah.
so funny.
I know.
Oh
No.
my God. And it
These
shut these
people,
people.
these people are. You're just not getting it out in the public like they pretend. It's
Yeah.
just not happening. It just doesn't work that way. You know, most people, they're being exposed at home, and then of course the obvious question is, well, if they're exposed at home, how did the person at home get it? Well, they're intimate with somebody else somewhere. I think there's more intimacy involved in this.
Yeah, I know that they don't want to admit.
Yes, and I don't mean intimacy like sex, but I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be like my son and I. My son lives in this house, and we have this plastic cup that
Mm.
sits on the counter, and we wash it and
Mm.
like that. But I'll go fill it up, and I'll take a drink of water out of it, and then it's not dirty. I just drank some water. I leave it on the cup. My son goes in, and it's like he's thirsty. He just fills it up, and
Mm.
it's just there.
Mm.
It's that
Mm.
kind of intimacy. It's like
Mm.
that you're getting it from, but. The trick is just make your son have to go get a test,
Mm.
and then if he comes up negative, that means you're negative.
Yeah, well, he gets them for free from school, anyways.
I
They
know,
give
I
him
know,
like 23 times a day.
I
Oh,
know.
by
It's
the way,
crazy.
we're making our third cross country trip since this pandemic began. We got to
Oh,
go store his stuff. We're actually going to fly out this time.
oh,
It's
you're gonna.
February 6th.
Okay.
I would like to drive, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like unlike other people, we actually, watch our budget. We don't spend
Yeah.
more than we have.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful. So we're
The last
actually just
drove,
just me and
did you
Josh.
get
Huh?
the last time you drove, did you get an RV?
No, no.
Oh, you
That
didn't.
that that was 2 years ago. We
Oh,
took the month
yeah.
off.
How much was that? Was that like how
I
much
don't
does it
know when he took
cost?
care of that. It was a lot of money. I
Is
mean,
it thousands of dollars? Yeah.
oh yeah, way over. Just the gas
Yeah.
was a couple of grand.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But we stayed in campgrounds. We didn't stay in hotels, so that
Right.
was pretty cheap. So
Yeah.
that helped us a lot.
Yeah.
But it was a once in a lifetime trip. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. That
Because
would have.
we
I've always wanted to do that. My
it
dad always
was
wanted to do that. I always regretted that he died before we could. He always wanted me and him to go on a cross country trip, and
yeah
it just never happened.
yeah I know. My dad
I,
was the same way,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
and it was awesome when we did it because it was literally a once in a lifetime thing, and it
Yeah.
was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't have one bad thing to say about it.
Yeah. The route that you took was good too. Like you
Yeah
took this crazy circuitous route. You
yeah
know. Oh,
yeah.
you saw. You know.
We saw everything. We talked to hundreds of people. My wife just loves to talk to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we met all these great people. We never met one like idiot. It
Yeah.
was amazing. And once you get out of this state, you realize that it's not all crazy people. They're
What
just regular people.
like wealthy people that travel? Like when wealthy people travel,
Uh-huh.
they travel the way they travel: first class accommodations,
Yeah.
first flights. So they're staying at nice resorts, they're staying in nice hotels, they're going to beautiful, wealthy cities that the average person can't go to. So they're always in that bubble of
Yeah.
those self-styled aristocrats.
Yeah.
The reality is, the funnest thing is, hey, let's take a left, and the next hotel we see, that's where we stay.
Don't laugh. That's what Wendy did. We were coming out of the who's the coal miner's daughter? What's her name?
Um,
Mm.
uh, Johnny Cash's wife.
No, no, not Rosalind Cash. It's the coal miner's daughter. Remember,
Yeah.
she
Oh,
grew up in
okay.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, we went to her ranch, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was all right. We actually went in there. She goes, "What time? When did she pass away?" "Oh, she's not dead yet." I go, "Oh, okay." But we took a left instead of a right, and she found this old antique store she really liked. It was that type of thing we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
We parked in back of the police station, and they just said, "Yeah, go ahead to park." There's some small town; they didn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I had a good job.
I've had
But
a
hey,
I've had a
I gotta go. I really gotta go. But next time I need to ask you about this court thing. It's really bugging
get
me.
the text I sent today.
Yeah, I get the text, but I gotta ask you about it anyways. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you later.